Alright, it's Negexus Lilac coming to YouTube with a deck profile on Nordic Beatdown deck. Generally, the point of this deck is going to be getting out Odin as soon as possible, and which actually isn't hard to do with this build. Let's see. 3 10 Grisniers, when it's destroyed by battle, you get 2 level 3 tokens. Simple as that. That's going to be like half of the combo of getting Odin out. Now you're going to play it in face down defense, and they're going to attack it, of course. Then 3 Vanitas. That is going to be the card that you normal summon to sync with the 2 level 3 tokens, and that's 4 plus 2 3s equals 10. It's an immediate Odin. And it also can be considered for any tuner, Nordic tuner for that matter, so if you also wanted to get Loki, you could do that as well. Just depending on the situation. Then I have 2 Valkyries. It's in case they manage to get past your Odin, or if you just have a bad hand, you know, summon that when you don't have any cards at all. Remove from play 2 Nordic monsters from your grave. Then you get 2 level 4 tokens, and then you can sync for 10 that way. Though in this situation, you would only be able to use Odin. 3 10 Josters. He's really good when you play 10 Grisnier, because when he's destroyed by battle, not only going to get those 2 tokens, but then you can special summon him from your hand. So it's just an extra amount of monsters. You know, it's kind of a swarm deck, I guess. And then even better is, you know, you're going to special summon him in defense, and then when you put him into attack, you get to special summon a Nordic monster, no, a Nordic beast from your deck and face up defense position, which is awesome, except for him, of course. So what you're going to do is, you know, you're going to get him, and then you're going to summon that guy again, which is just more and more tokens. It pretty much puts up a massive wall, and they just can barely get through it. It's really cool, actually. Then I run 3 Goldfax. He's really good for synchro spam decks, which is a big part of this meta. A lot of people use synchros, and you can just special summon him for free if they have a synchro on the field, and, you know, he's a tuner, so that's also really great. And then you can use him for just any of the other synchros in the deck, but we'll get to the extra deck later. Then I run 1 Losolf. He's I mean, he's alright. I only run 1 because, you know, he's not that big of a deal, but it basically lets me, when I normal summon him, I get to choose another face-up monster, and then I can special summon any Nordic monster from my hand with a level less than or equal to that monster. So it's basically just like a double summon. I mean, it's pretty good. You know, it's really good for swarming, and it's really good for getting out another monster that could help you sync for a high level. Then I run 1 Thunder King, mainly because I don't have 3. I would be running 3, but I don't have the whole playset yet. But it will be 3 right now. It's only 1. It's doing okay. I mean, losing those other 2 doesn't hurt as bad as you would think. I mean, I know the playset's awesome and everything, but it's just not. It's not that detrimental to the playstyle of not having those other 2. But I am looking for more. So 3 Thunder Kings if you actually have the build, but I only run 1 right now. 2 Giant Rats, just in case I am not getting that guy or that guy. You know, it's just really easy to get those guys out. I'm mainly this guy because, you know, you're gonna get the 2 tokens. Just helps for the swarming capabilities. And it has to be an Earth, so it's gonna be one of the. It's either gonna be Goldifax, 10 Grisnier, or 10 the other guy. I can't. I'm not gonna lie. I cannot pronounce their names properly. Then that's it for just 2 Giant Rats for now, at least. I haven't come across the need for 3 because, I mean, 3 Giant Rats, you're only looking at 3 different monsters. So, I mean, running 3 Giant Rats is just a waste unless I'm just going to sit there and, you know, go into another Giant Rat from the first one and so on and so forth. But that's, I mean, I guess that helps the wall. But other than that, I think 2 is where it should be, to be honest with you. Speaking of that, Honest. Honest, he's a staple. He's really good for light monsters, and just in case they manage to do something about Odin, you never know. And I mean, it's just, and even then, let's say they have a high attack monster. Let's say they get like BLS out. I mean, you know, Chaos decks are pretty good in the meta right now. If they get BLS out, and then you have Odin, you can attack them, and then you'll still get to do the whole 4,000 damage, because you can just tribute, you can get rid of him in your hand and then get the 3,000 attack. So, you know, that's their defense is gone. I mean, it'll stop a lot of high attack monsters that they can get. Even though they don't overpower you, you'll still get to do that full 4,000, which is half their life points. So you can very easily turn the tides of a game. 2 faders, just in case for a bad start. You know, if they happen to have a swarm deck, you know, it's really good for you know, saving your butt for another turn. Pretty common card. And then finally a Sangan, which is basic. You know, I'm gonna pull out any monster in my deck with 1500 or less. If I already have a Transgrisnir, I'll get Vanidus. If I mean, it really does just, it depends on what combos you're wanting to use. But that's it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells. 1 burial from the different dimension, which, you know, it's limited, so you can only have that. I use this mainly because of Odin's effect. It'll let me get another Nordic Ascendant. But like I said, I'll actually put that aside and I'll explain that a little later. But Lightning Vortex, a lot of swarm decks right now, so, you know, all you gotta do is discard a card and destroy their whole field. That also will help with Odin, technically, if you happen to discard an Ascendant monster. Monster Reborn, pretty common, basic. Tribute to the Doomed, same thing, you know, get destroy a monster. Then 3 Misties for back row destruction, because there's a lot of back row in this meta. I'm still looking through my cards to get another Heavy Storm, because I do need a Heavy Storm for this deck. But it will be in there, it's just not in there right this second. Now, that's all for the spells. This is actually a pretty trap-heavy deck, to be perfectly honest with you. Then I get 3 Gleipnirs, the Fetters of Fenrir. That's pretty basic, and it's really good, because, I mean, if you happen to get one of those dead draws, like the starting draw, and you have, like, all spells or traps, you know, if you get these, then there you go, you get your monsters. Any Nordic monster from your deck, you get it to your hand. It's really great. I run 3 of them because it's such a great card for Nordics. Then Nordic Relic Leviathan. It's, I mean, it's situational, I guess. It, you know, if they destroy you by battle, then you get to destroy them, and they can't actually, like, if they have Dark Bribe, they can't destroy it. There's nothing they can do. They can't trigger anything when this is activated. So it's a guaranteed destroy their monsters. I mean, it really will come in handy, but I wouldn't run more than 1, because, you know, this is a beatdown deck after all, and it's about getting out those high attack monsters. So there's a low chance that they're going to destroy you by battle. Call of the Haunted. That's used with Odin. You're going to bring him back from the grave, and then Odin's effect will come into play. He's immune to spell and traps, so if you use his effect and then manage to get rid of Call of the Haunted, it won't destroy him. He will actually stay on the field, and you just get him for free. It's really awesome if you combo it just right. Mirror Force, Magic Cylinder, Bottomless, all 3 staples. You already know what they do. I run 2 Solemns, you know, those Synchros, Xyz, you know, especially with, like, Dino Rabbits out there and stuff, you know, they're going to get that Lagia, so, you know, 2,000 life points, immediately get rid of their special summon monster, and 2 Trap Stuns for those situations where, you know, if I don't have Odin, but I do have that big field, and I attack and they just flip Mirror Force, it's just like, yeah, no thanks. So, Trap Stun. Now, like I said, moving on to the extra deck. 2 Odins. He's the key card of this entire deck. He's level 10 Synchro. Once per turn, during my main phase, I can make him completely immune to spell and trap effects, which is why it's so good with Barrel from a different dimension. Well, actually, pardon me, that'll come in a little bit later. So, 4,000 attack, he's just a huge beat stick. He's amazing. He's immune to Magic Cylinder, D-Prison, Mirror Force, all of that. Now, of course, you do have to use the effect, remember that, because it is once per turn you can make him immune. It's not just a permanent thing, which means he's only going to be immune on your turn. And then, his second effect is if he goes to the graveyard, for whatever means, you can remove from play 1 Nordic Ascendant, which they're couple Nordic Ascendants in this deck at least, but you know, you'll at least have 1. It's a guaranteed 1 because obviously I had a Synchro for him, and you just remove from play 1 Nordic Ascendant from your graveyard, and you get him back during that end phase. Now remember, you have to use it during that end phase, otherwise you're out of luck. And that's why Barrel from the Different Dimension comes into play, because you just quick play, you flip that, you get those Nordic Ascendants back to your graveyard, which means you get more turns to bring Odin back. He's just a continuous beat stick. You can't get past him other than, like, I mean, a couple cards, like obviously, if they were to use like Dark Core or something like that, remove it from play on their turn, but you know, you can't really predict that, so I never worry too much about that happening, because that kind of stuff is impossible to predict happening. But in this meta, you shouldn't have a problem keeping Odin out on the field, because he's just such a great card. Then I run 2 Lokis. He's pretty situational. I mean, you can negate spell or trap cards during your battle phase, so he's not immune, but he still will get to negate and destroy a spell once per turn during your turn. So you can attack, and you still don't have to be worried about any of that kind of stuff. And then, basically the same thing, if he's destroyed during the end phase, you gotta banish one Nordic Alfar, but, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, it's mainly focused on Odin, but you never know when you're gonna need him. But always try to go to for Odin, remember that. I've actually seen a good amount of people start running Twilight Sworns recently, so I put in Ally of Justice Decisive Armor, and that's an amazing card because, I mean, it's just, you can OTK them with that because, you know, they're trying to get those JDs in their hand, and, you know, his effect is if they control a light monster at all, you can activate any of these 3 effects, and the best one is the third one, where you send you send all cards in their hand to the graveyard, or all your cards, pardon me, and you get to look at their hand. You send every light monster in their hand to the graveyard and do damage to them equal to the total attack combined. So, I mean, think about that. If they have a couple JDs, I mean, even if they have 2, that's an immediate 6,000 damage guaranteed. It's phenomenal to have. I mean, I only have 1 right now, but I'm definitely getting a second one just in case. And, you know, it's 3,300 beat stick. What more can you ask for? I mean, it's definitely going to counter Light Sworns and Agents. Those are 2 pretty common light decks right now, and it's very good to use. Next, I have Red Dragon Archfiend. Just a staple synchro, you know, it's really good. You know, destroy all defense position monsters if they happen to be a defensive player, if they have a stall deck. Zaman the Ape King. I mean, he's something I just threw in there. You know, you have the non-beast type tuner. So, I mean, you know, seeing as I do have a lot of the Nordic beasts in here, I mean, and he's pretty good. You know, they can't activate any spell or traps until the end of the damage step. So once again, there are a lot of synchros in this extra deck that basically stops them from stopping you. It's pretty useful, seeing as this playstyle is very heavily influenced to be used on your turn. I mean, it's all about you doing stuff. And then there's finally a Cataster. Cataster completely makes sense. You know, any non-light, he's gonna banish him. Not banish him, destroy him. So, I mean, that's it for the Nordic Beatdown deck. I mean, I'm still tweaking and all, but that's the base, the core build on it. There are a couple cards I need to get, you know, like the Ryos and the Heavy Storm, but other than that. And, you know, like I said, you know, those cards that just combo with Odin so well, it's just amazing to use. Call of the Haunted, Burial, you know, you just make him immune, get rid of that, and he comes back for free. I mean, it's awesome. But, yeah, I'm considering running this deck at locals. If you have any advice for me or anything you'd like to talk to me about, comment in the area below or message us. Peace out, YouTube.